All right, guys, today's lesson we're going to talk about the importance of using your wrists and arms to square the club face. There's a lot of you think it's the torso that squares the club face. I'm here to tell you that is absolutely not the truth. If that was the case, why nobody would slice, right? Who would miss right if the body actually squared the club face? The more you throw the kitchen sink at it, of course, the less you'd miss it to the right. Well, you know that is not the case. I can move my body this way, and a lot of the time the club face is going to move in the opposite direction. For you guys that hook the golf ball, of course, one would think if I move my body less to the left, of course, then I'm not going to hook the golf ball. That would mean the club face won't close. Well, that's very much the opposite, as you know. If you've struggled with hooks over the years, if your body stays this way, a lot of the time the club face moves in the opposite direction. So in many respects, the club face and the body are not synonymous with each other. That is the big challenge. So what is it, after all, that squares the club face? Well, it's pretty straightforward, guys. It's the wrists. There's no question wrist angles are, in my opinion, the most important thing to work on in any golf swing. Doesn't matter what level you're at, whether you're an elite golfer that hits too many hooks or a recreational golfer that hits too many slices. This is going to work really well for you. So the bottom line is this: can you set up 3 golf balls, right? 3 in a row right here. I've got a 9-iron. I'm going to put my feet pretty close together, and I'm going to make one go left, I'm going to make one go straight, I'm going to make one go right. I'm going to start off with the left, right, facing the camera here. I'm going to go ahead and get maybe 2 club heads widths here between my feet. Stay pretty narrow, not really make some full swings, but I'm going to make the first one go to the left of where I am aimed, right here. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, and off it went to the left. Now this one I'm going to make go straight, and then the last one I'm going to make go to the right. Left, straight, right. Now here's the thing, my body dynamics remained pretty similar. You wouldn't necessarily be able to tell based on that swing from face on what that golf ball is doing, but I can assure you those golf balls moved in very different directions. Why? Because my wrist moved differently for each golf shot, and that's what we want to discuss today. When we talk about hitting draws or hitting fades or hitting it straight, we need to understand that the wrists have a role to play in the golf swing. They have to articulate. You have to feel something beyond the compound rubber that's underneath your hands. You have to feel this club face. So tension, in my opinion, I think a lot of coaches would agree, tension is a silent killer. If you've got a golfer that's squeezing the life force out of the grip, it makes it very, very difficult for them to feel what the club is doing as they swing. And we have to remember the golf swing's happening in a very, very quick space of time, a little over a second, guys, to make a golf swing. 0.25 seconds from the top of the backswing to the point of collision. That is not a lot of time. So your ability to feel in time and space what this club is doing is incredibly important. Now let's talk about the first one. The first one I made go to the left because I had more lead wrist supination. What does that mean? That means the back of my lead hand is pointing down as if I'm holding a cup of soup on my lead hand. Okay, so what you're going to see here is the toe of the club as a right-handed golfer is going to rotate counterclockwise. I'm turning my knuckles down, I'm rotating my forearms, and the toe of the club, of course, is pointing a little bit more to the left. Back of the left hand is down. The one that was straight, of course, my release pattern was more vanilla, more neutral, okay? As I came into the golf ball, there's no question my arms dropped as I started my downswing here. I turned the toe to the left, but I kept my hands a little bit more to the side of the golf club. My lead hand wasn't maybe quite as far under, it was a little bit more to the side. And of course, the one that went out to the right on purpose, my lead hand was a little bit more on top of the golf club. In other words, the back of my lead hand is pointing up, and the grooves, of course, are pointing more up. So for you guys that hook the golf ball, I think most of you are struggling because you believe that you need to block it in order to get rid of your hook, what we call handle dragging, making sure the club head doesn't pass the hands. I would suggest you release your speed, but you release your lead wrist into more extension, not supination, right? So it's finding what works best for you based on your particular issue with your golf swing. Hookers and slicers are not going to work on the same thing, but being able to stand here, whether you hook the ball or slice the ball, being able to stand here and make some little swings with your feet pretty close together, make the ball go left, make it go straight, make it go right. Because you controlled your wrist angles is one of the most fundamental things you can work on as a golfer. I cannot express the importance of learning how to educate your wrists and arms. They're the only thing that are synonymous with the club face. Your body is absolutely not synonymous with the club face. That is a massive misconception. Remember, guys, the arms move the arms, okay? It's not the body that moves the arms. The body can only move the arms so far. So many of you are under the impression you leave your arms at the start line and you fire your body. And if you fire your body, you know, you're going to hit the ball further. What most golfers are doing, unfortunately, is they're not transferring any energy to the club head. That's the challenge, right? So if you've got a dragging motion where you're firing your body, you're most likely leaving your arms at the start line. You're forced to release early. That is the sad reality for most of you that are under the impression that you need to maintain angles back here, for example. Maintaining lag causes an early release. Like this game isn't hard enough as it is, but that's very much the case. If you keep your back to the target and start to swing your arms and the club, you're going to naturally create more lag. Your arms will de-elevate, the club head will not, okay? The club head will remain up as your arms work down. Now we've got our arms out in front of our body, we can start to release the club, whether it be a draw, a fade, a straight shot, however we want to control that club face. We can do that, okay? But if you're leaving that club at the start line and under the impression that all you need to do is fire your body and take the wrists and the arms out of your golf swing, because that's how you become consistent, that is, for the vast majority of you, going to be a huge problem. That's what I see. I'm the beneficiary of that kind of stinking thinking, okay? So feet together, swing your wrists and arms, release the golf club. Feel the club head passing the body. Look at the butt end of the club, guys. It's pointing back at me. What I'm not doing here is spinning my body, dragging the handle, elbow up, club head down. That's the last thing we want. We want elbows down, club up. Can you see that? Arms are going to drop. Golf club is going to release past my body. Rehinging on the opposite side here. Give your speed a home. Send it home, whether it's a draw, a straight shot, or a fade. It doesn't matter, but send it home nonetheless, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about horizontal force. How do we use the body? Remember, the body plays a role. This isn't about standing here and just using your wrists and arms. The body plays a role. Now, for the most part, what I see from golfers that come and work with me is they have what's called a transition spin. They're not really gliding into the golf ball. What they're doing is they're spinning back to it too soon. Unfortunately, the arms follow the path of the body. So we get to the top of the backswing, we spin back to the golf ball, the arms follow suit, you come miles over the top of it. You're not really applying any pressure into your lead side. We need to stall that spin phase. That's one of the big challenges we have. Quit throwing the kitchen sink at it. That's definitely not going to work. So what if we kind of use this wrist and arm motion where we send our speed home? This is a wonderful drill. I love my hitchhiker drill. Talk about that a lot on my channel, where we go ahead and allow the wrist to hinge, and then we allow them to unhinge, and of course we send our speed home by rehinging. Okay, we work on this little drill. And then we apply a little bit of a horizontal force into our motion to avoid that spin phase by doing a step drill. So what we'd want to do here is set up to it, get a wider stance, put it kind of a little left of center, guys. Okay, I've got a 9-iron here. And then we'll go ahead and take a step back and we'll do the same thing. This is my release, remember. I'm not turning off my wrists and arms here. But what I do here is I take it back, I step, and then I use my wrists and arms. That would be very, very helpful for the vast majority of you that are starting down this way too much and you're not starting down this way. We want to keep our back to the target here as our arms de-elevate. That's going to help us sequence our swing. It's going to help us get the club onto a much more shallow orbit for those of you that come over the top of it. So let's get after it. See, we can integrate kind of a hitchhiker drill with a step drill. So we go back, we step, we release. There it is. That is a good feeling, guys. I'm creating a little bit more lateral force here. I'm keeping my back to the target as my arms drop. That's your transition. From this direction, back to the target, arms drop. Arms, swing the arms, okay? Do not stand here and leave your arms across your body and spin back to the golf ball. Nothing worse than that, okay? So again, remember how to release the club. Educate yourself to hit it left, straight, and right. Pick whatever release pattern works for you, guys. If you hook it, you're probably going to want to release that lead wrist more into extension, grooves up to eliminate the left side of the golf course. If you're a slicer, you're probably going to want to supinate a little bit more. Get the toe turning down a little bit earlier. Lead wrist is going to be pointing down this way, okay? Palm up as you swing through the golf ball. Maybe you want to align a little bit further right if you slice the golf ball. That's going to help you hit it more from the inside. So it's a kind of a game of opposites is really what it is. Let's do that one more time. Going to get some lateral force into my motion. I'm going to swing my arms the same way. Rehearse my release before I do this. There it is, okay? Nothing better than swinging the arms freely. I'm going to go again. I'm going to go ahead and step, swing, step, release. That is a great feeling. There's nothing better than moving on top of your left side as you swing through. Being up and on top of that left side. Hanging back on that trail side and spinning out of it is not a good feeling. It affects your low point control, really has you cutting across the golf ball. So just some food for thought, guys. Quit trying to square the club face with your body. Educate your wrists and arms. Find a release pattern that works for you. Feet together drills, absolutely fabulous. Swing the wrists and arms. Create a swoosh. Get those wrists and arms moving. And then start to use your body more dynamically, not by turning your body more, but actually moving a little bit more into your left side laterally as you sling the golf club. That's how you want to blend the hitchhiker drill with good body dynamics. If you have any comments, I always get back to people. Love to hear some of the progress that you've made. Amazing comments that I've had through my channel. If you think this could help, go ahead and share. And thank you so much for your support and subscribing. We'll catch you next time. All right, guys, a little TV timeout. I want to talk about my upcoming golf schools in end of July, August, September, October. I do a lot of half and full day immersions, one-on-one, where people take a deep dive into their games, working with me in person. These are a little bit different. 8 golfers over 2 days, 8 hours of coaching, 2 9-hole on-course sessions over 2 days, guys. Going to be a lot of fun. 2 coaches, myself, my assistant coach. We're going to do a heck of a job. Very heart-centered in what we do. We want to keep things very, very simple, but we want to be very, very impactful. There is definitely an easier way. I'm located at the Links of Stono Ferry. We're due west of downtown Charleston, about 18 miles. Absolutely beautiful place to visit. The link is in the description to my 2-day golf school, so check it out. I look forward to working with you. We'll talk to you soon.